Hey gamers, I'm Hater115 and welcome to Star Citizen Leaks. What is the MISC Dart? That's the big question of the day, or is it? Before we talk about that Star Wars A-Wing type motherfucker plastered on the video's thumbnail, we need to talk about the concept of shelving. Shelve, and its associated term shelving, is a concept defined by Google as to decide not to proceed with a project or plan, either temporarily or permanently. Would you believe it or not that Cloud Imperium Games has an extensive list of shelved items, particularly ships? When it comes to Star Citizen, there are many ships that exist publicly, either in concept or in-game. There lies behind these public-facing ships numerous ships that haven't yet made the cut. Ships that weren't good, ships that weren't interesting, ships that didn't make sense, or ships that you might want to save for later. CIG allows us peeks into this hidden library very, very rarely, with the most recent peek into this hidden past being the mysterious Argo vessel shown on an ATV just last week of this episode's recording. As you can see from the vessel shown, there's a lot of work on this ship done. Animations, basic coloring, a hollowed out cockpit. Let's look at another shelved concept real quick. The Origin G12 rover. What? You may ask, didn't this just come out? Sure, it did. However, the ship has existed for quite a while. CIG loves to pull on the old concept shelf once in a hot minute to patch up some sail windows, this G12 being one of them. This shelf is full of projects neither cancelled or finished. There's a twilight zone of ship concepts that may be used in the future. Now that we've gone over the concept of the shelf, let's reach behind the veil and grab the Miyuashi Industrial and Starflight Concern Dart, aka the MISC Dart. What is this lovely cancelled vessel? Well, it's a spaceship, probably gray, and MISC's first foray into a line of fighters. Before we go too far into this, I want to credit the 4 artists who made this episode possible. SamMonahan, who created the 3D model used for reference by all of the artists who I'm about to mention, out of some shitty sketches my source made. Faust, who using the 3D models created posed imagery and the lovely Eclipse throwback image right here. Cho created a lovely flyby image that's also used on the thumbnail, and Vulcan13, who created this lovely dart in flight. So, the MISC Dart. Loaded with 4 size tree hardpoints, 2 gimbaled, and 2 fixed gatlings embedded into 2 holes on the bottom of the ship. These things are non-removable, by the way, as I've heard. This fighter is ready to rumble. I will note now that while I do not have information on components such as shields, power plants, and other random crap, I'm personally going to speculate it's going to lean towards a stronger hull and shield composition, while focusing less on its thrust power, going off of current MISC staples, of course. Visually, this Dorito has that good old MISC flair, in which it looks like a stone you pick up to skip over a river. Alongside the MISC branding comes the odd bit of alien design, which seems to be a staple of MISC, which seems to come along in the form of odd landing gear. Rather than typical wheels or skids, the Illyrians are the skids. They move down and split up in order to provide the pilot, the Dart, a lovely place to land on. Of course, you may say, isn't this kind of unnecessary and doesn't really add any function? Just useless form that only hinder the pilot? To which I would respond with, you took the words right out of CIG's mouth. Let's just talk a moment on the ship's development history for just a second. Beginning and ending from early to late 2019 respectively, the Dart was being created at a decently good pace, good enough to call the current designs as of its shelving gray box, as described by a few of my sources. I will note that this is the 2019-2020 version of gray box, where this thing, it's looking pretty juicy. When getting nearer to that lovely finish line, the development team behind the ship made a couple of realizations. What is MISC doing making a light-medium fighter? Or medium-light fighter is probably the better way to put it. What is the landing gear's purpose? What does this new fighter in general add to our game? These questions, including a couple other issues, led to the shelving of the Dart. Of course, this shelving may just be a moment, or maybe forever. The shelves of Christopher Roberts is one that holds many failures, or possibly flowers ready to bloom. That about wraps up today's Drips and Drops. Sorry for being a tad late on this. Work comes a-calling, and you guys aren't the ones paying my rent. So, what do you guys think about the Dart? Any good? Would you buy one of these babies if it were made available today? Or do you think it should just rot on the Chris Roberts shelf? Like many a cancelled concept. If you feel this ship should pop up, maybe you should post about it over on CRG's social media. Who knows? Maybe they'll talk about it. Otherwise, if you enjoyed what you saw today, hit that like. Or alternatively, if you want to see more content in the future, give us a subscribe. Don't worry though, if you're on our Discord, you're pinged all the same. Thanks to our Patreons on Patreon for our kind donations that make the show and our Discord servers giveaways possible. Speaking of those giveaways, the 2 people who won the rock, you've already been messaged. But we are getting a new giveaway starting today, yesterday, whenever this episode posted. It's probably been 24 hours before then. We're going to be giving away a Talon and a rock. The rock generously donated by our moderator Horse, and the Talon donated by you guys through Patreon, because Patreon money is going into that giveaway. As is usually the case, we'll be shouting out our $10 rule, the Leaky Pipe Producers. If you'd like to have your name at the end here, or get access to early content, and access to a special super secret Discord channel, be sure to pledge today. AA001, Boobbot, Josh Hellman, Kenny G. Sullivan, Foxnix, Professor Mango, Regula Tim, Schwammerl, Sorston, Wendy Diere, and Yannick Cumley. Thank you very much for watching, and you guys have a good one. Adios.